basically, I refer to this, especially in this first presentation, a lot of the material ties back into this, so you can just go back and read some more detail. So if you want to download this, it's free. It's really, a lot of it's from my blog, because I write a lot. And I process a lot of my information on the spot. A lot of times I don't even know what I'm going to say, it just comes to my head. And I actually realize a lot of my insights as I'm writing and as I'm using the product. So if you want to, feel free to download this. And now I need the next slide. Okay. What? Does it work? Does it work? Okay, now it works. Okay, this is an example of, there's a lot of overlap, like we were just saying, between these free and these paid tools. And actually it's kind of confusing to know why you would want to buy anything. You know, like why buy something is not really that clear what you want to do. So this was a touch graph thing I just generated. It's more or less an example of, I think the red is paid and the purple is not, but it's not important. It's just, the first thing here is how to build your own dashboard. We got into solutions. Luke put me on the hook for Net5s. I don't generally use Net5s, but you can actually build something free that's not bad using Net5s. And I think for me, Net5s is used more in Europe than the States. I don't particularly. You can basically put a number of queries in different sources, get the RSS feeds and stick it into different windows here. How good is it? It's not bad, but if you know what you want and you just want to see a dashboard, let's say you're a restaurant, and you just want to see what people are saying in Twitter, you know, what people are saying in different places on Flickr, you could kind of get an RSS feed for anything and then just make a widget out of it, put it into Net5s, and then you just go to the Net5s page. Not much work. As long as you know what you want to search, and some of them do Boolean, I believe. So that's one way you can go. That doesn't cost anything. And what? Can you get raw data? Well, you'd have to export. No, you would just basically look at that. I mean, you can't get anything more out of that than a visual. I mean, I guess you could. I mean, you get what you pay for. It's you know, it's a dashboard. You know, it's free. You know, it's not historical. You're not going to go back 2 months. It's free, you know. But if you don't care about 2 months ago and you just want now, and yeah, that's fine. Next one is easier. You just put in a subject and a dictomatic will kind of do the work for you. It's also free. It's not private though, so anybody can see it. You know, I mean, if they know to look at it, it's just a page that you can create on any subject, and it'll go and try to figure out what people are saying in Twitter, in Bing, and YouTube, you know. And generally, I think it's better to use a term like, let's say you're working for a brand like Timberland or something, like, don't use their URL, use the name of what they are, you know. Use some kind of term that has meaning. And so you'll pick out, like, stuff on YouTube that has that tag. So that's, you know, that's a little better, but I don't find much use for it, but it could be helpful to some people if you're going around Europe and going around, you know, UK, and you want to know, you could in theory make one of these for every town you're going to, you know, and then you would look at it to see what people are saying, you know, if it picked up anything. The crawler is their crawler, so it's just basically going out. You don't know, you have any control over what they're doing. And so basically you don't do anything with it. It's free. You don't have to do anything. It's one step. And then you could refer to pages 22 and 23 if you want to just see that. The next one was a challenging one. It came from Nathan, who spoke earlier today. And he brought up to Luke and I that there's an open source free platform called Tabler that sits on top of Drupal. When I looked at this looked like a lot of work because you had to, but it could replace the Radiant 6. So like, okay, it's a lot of work because you have to host the service yourself. So you have some space somewhere. You have an admin account. You can upload Tableau to it, and you could get all your Drupal patches done. And then you can kind of go into this very ugly interface and try to program it. And you know, if you're willing to put enough work into something like this, you could probably replace the Radiant 6s and some of the others. Yeah?
Yeah, I like to summarize that as for people who have more skills than money.
Yeah.
This is open source software.
This is a hobbyist.
You need a computer geek. No, it was actually built for NGOs who are like
For nonprofit.
well, like international non-governmental organizations.
Yeah.
It was originally developed out of the World Bank, and the idea was these people might have computer administrators on staff who can configure this, but they don't have budget for commercial tools. So more skill than money, and not as a put down, but as an accurate depiction of the situation.
So right now, I mean, when I try to set it up, we finally got it running on a server. We played with it. I try to get it running on my own Dreamhost account, and I found that it was very difficult because it was asking for all these patches, you know. And by the time you actually looked at the thing, you could say, it's a tool that you would hate, but if you were willing to put enough time into it, you would probably end loving it. It's like any tool, even the most god-awful worst tool in the world, if you're willing to put enough energy into it, you could probably end up swearing by that tool. But the problem is not many people would be interested, and the interface is awful. So what I find is that somebody, let's say, could really replace Radiant 6 with this, and that's a significant thing, or some of these other platforms, because those platforms cost a lot of money when you start really talking about it. So if you're willing to put some money into this, that's good, but there's another question that I had immediately when I looked at this, which is, since it's open source, and since people are developing it that you don't know, and you have a problem, where do you go? Like, who supports it? Who updates it? Who is responsible for the integrity of it? And that's kind of where I think this breaks down, because you develop, you know, it's like Firefox, like who updates, you know, it's millions of patches and so. So like I kind of feel like this could be a good solution, but it's kind of raw. And I didn't really get a sense that they made it very easy for anybody. You know, they said it was easy, but it really wasn't. And it might be easy for the programmer that did it, you know, but it's not easy for me. And I used to be Unix admin at one time. So like I'm used to doing this stuff, and it wasn't easy for me, maybe because I forgot I'm not doing it anymore. But I just found like this is an interesting thing if you want to save money, but this is a lot of work. So anyway, if you wanted to replace Alterian and you wanted to replace some of the people that are here, and you thought you really wanted to do it, you might be able to do it on this. Maybe. Then the other thing you could look at is this other approach. I did some research to see what other people were doing, and some people came up with very crazy solutions, but this was one of them. You know, in this approach, you do a lot of keyword research, and you put a lot of, and I did like 20 pages about how you would figure out all the misspellings, and how you would create a spreadsheet, and then how you would create the RSS feeds, and then how, you know, when you've done all of that, then you go into Google, iGoogle, and create all these widgets, which seemed like a lot of work. So there we go back again with the work. You know, like you still have to write the queries, you still have to think about, and then this isn't all that changeable or flexible. But yeah, it's and it didn't have to be Google Dashboard, it could have been Google Reader. But in this case, this person did it in Google Dashboard. And like I say, that was a giant long blog post, and I actually copied that post and looked at it a little, and I stuck it into the ebook, and said, you know, when I looked at what they actually did, it was just a lot of keyword searches and misspelling. So it seemed like a lot of work, but yes, you could create this nice dashboard. And if you knew what you wanted to look at, this might be an option. You wouldn't have to buy any of those platforms here, if that's what you want to do. Then the next one was a little easier, actually. I liked it. It was a lot more clear-cut. It seemed to do the same thing as the other one, but with a lot less work. This solution basically came from, who was doing it? Someone who works at PostRank. And basically what they did is they used social mention, which is kind of like a free